My whole world just imploded after I caught my sister with my fiance, the two people I trusted the most. For some reason, I feel more secure venting to strangers rather than to people who know me and can judge me more in depth. I had been suspecting my fiance of having an affair, but I lacked solid evidence. I was scared to confirm my suspicions, so I hesitated to delve any deeper. 12 days ago, I returned home from visiting my mom. I went upstairs to wake my fiance, who had a habit of sleeping past 2 p.m. and then complaining that I didn't wake him. Upon opening the door, I found my practically exposed sister rushing to get out of a lingerie bodysuit that belonged to me. My mind went blank. It was like that dizzy feeling you get when you stand up too fast, along with a brewing sickness in my stomach. For 30 seconds, I stood there as the two people I trusted most looked more shocked than I felt. My fiancé jumped out of bed, yapping excuses ranging from, "It was an accident," to "I was lonely and needed intimate relief." I should mention that my best friend had unalived herself 2 weeks ago. Despite being surrounded by people, I felt alone and devastated, guilty that I couldn't have done anything to help her. I just left. I walked to my friend's house, which was 10 minutes away, and confided in her about what had happened. The grief of losing not only a best friend but also my relationships with my fiancé and sister within the same 2-week period was overwhelming. Now, as I sit down to write this, I wonder if any of these relationships can ever be mended or returned to how they were. I can't understand why my sister would do this to me. There was never any favoritism towards us to cause her spite. I never intentionally hurt her. I gave her a place to stay and bought her food without expecting a penny. I even painted our living room walls a nice gray because she complained about the white color giving her a headache. As for my fiancé, I gave him everything. I was even willing to have kids with him despite always wanting to be child-free. I comforted him in bad times and spent hours watching movies he found hilarious. I gave him a locket with our anniversary photo, which he wore even while betraying me with my sister. These last days, my emotions have cycled through sadness, anger, and disgust. Despite being smoke-free for 2 years, I've started smoking again. I used to be heavily addicted from ages 16 to 21. Now, at 23, I'm struggling again. Sometimes, I lose interest in activities, even eating. I have to force myself to eat. I'm sleeping almost 17 hours a day and still feel tired constantly. Both of them asked to meet up on Wednesday. My sister's message read, "Hey, I know you probably don't want to hear from me right now, but can you meet me and your fiancé? We want to talk and have you hear us out. The situation you found us in was not ideal for a good headspace to talk right then. Please, let us explain. I love you, and you're my sister. I don't want to lose you. I think it's too late for that. It was too late from whenever this affair started. The sister I miss and whoever she is now are not the same person. I haven't talked to anyone yet, except the friend I'm currently staying with. I'm scared of being seen as a failure of a future wife, but now I don't even think I want to be a wife anymore." Small update, I just wanted to thank everyone for their advice. I'm currently looking into therapy for my grief and the affair. I'm also seeking a lawyer to ensure I'm legally clear. I replied to my sister, "I don't plan on meeting with you on Wednesday. I'll talk to you when I'm ready, whether it's tomorrow or years from now. You both owe me time to heal after betraying my trust under my roof. Bye." I've decided to focus on myself rather than repair a long-gone relationship with my sister or my ex. I will never go back to my ex. Maybe one day I'll hear him out, but not today. I'm preparing to discuss everything with my family, including my older brother. Update 1 year later, I wanted to log back on because I wanted to thank the people who showed me more kindness than the people I was supposed to trust, and also the people who seemed interested in my life. I can't blame them. When I read something that has some drama, I do become invested. I'll start with myself. I got myself into therapy and began taking care of myself, and myself only. Entering my relationship with my ex, I hadn't noticed how much time I spent taking care of him and neglecting myself and my needs. It was one of those relationships that you didn't notice the faults until you leave and become a sort of specter of what the relationship actually was. I think part of me was so invested in believing he was a good guy because of how past relationships had hurt me before, that I tried very hard to hold on to the idea that I had finally found someone who was different. Loving the wrong person can lead to some pretty devastating consequences, and I just happened to do that exact thing. Whenever I had seen stories before about people staying with their cheating partner, I was so quick to criticize how stupid that would be and thought, what did you expect? When they cheat again, but now that I've been through that, it was eye-opening. It's not easy to just up and leave behind someone you had invested so much love, time, and effort into. Yes, you can lose all love for that person in seconds, but you never lose the feeling of the love you felt before, if that makes sense. After I found out, I did want to try and work it out for many reasons, but through the help of my therapist, she helped me realize that I wanted to stay because after my best friend's death, he was the only thing that felt familiar in the moment. Everyone is growing up and moving away in my life. I was in a position that I felt so alone. But to expect people not to change is to not allow growth. They moved out of my house, and I moved back in. I won't lie, it was pretty lonely. I was so used to other voices in my home that it felt empty. But an empty room is open to hundreds of ideas, in my opinion. I redecorated with the help of friends and some family, and even though I had lost 2 people thanks to them, I was able to make memories that I'll cherish. I won't try and cover up that before I got therapy, I was indeed a wreck. I was just so tired of disappointment from my ex that the cheating was the final blow that knocked me back into reality. My sister's betrayal hurt way worse because we share the same parents, we used to share bunk beds and, without my knowledge, shared the same partner. But I owe them a huge thanks for allowing me to remove people who clearly had no good intentions. I will always love my sister, even though I don't want to, but sometimes there are strings attached to people that just can't be cut, and she is one of them. I'll never welcome her into my home again, but I'll answer the phone if she was at her lowest, even though she was a snake in my garden, doesn't mean she's not my sister. She did try to call a couple of weeks after she had moved out, and at first, I was angry at her. I honestly just wanted to hit her with everything I had, but when I answered and heard her voice, I just felt sorry for her. Everyone in my family knew how terrible she was, and just for some pleasure, she ruined the last relationship that was trying to help her. I just think she's a very self-destructive person that will never learn. They were constantly staying at different friends' houses because they couldn't afford to rent anywhere. My sister is apparently cheating on my ex with random people, and none of them are able to hold down a job. I would say karma, but it's just sad. My ex traded someone who became a pushover for him, someone who gave him everything she could, for someone who couldn't give a shit about him. I wish them well. I deserve better than that, and I just hope one day they grow up and begin to become better people than who they are right now. My family no longer talks to my sister, so she's on her own. Some things I hear about her remind me of just a confused child. However, I did see her on New Year's Eve. Me and some friends went clubbing because why not? And we unintentionally ran into her. At first, I tried to ignore her and just pretend I didn't see her, but she ended up coming up to me and tried to talk to me as if nothing ever happened. As the ex-partner, I wanted to slap her, but as her sister, I wanted to hug her and ask her why. But I just left. After we remove labels of sister or her partner's ex or whatever, we share the same DNA, and that will always be the thing that connects us. As for my dating life, I'm currently seeing someone and have been since November 23. I deserve happiness, and I deserve a lot more than what my ex gave me. However, I'm still dealing with issues from that relationship that have me in moments of guilt of not giving my full trust. I'm happy that he understands and listens to me when I have concerns, but I don't want to constantly live with issues I carry because of someone else. We're taking it slow, and he always reassures me. He's a good guy, and I'm happy he's in my life. I will find my peace with the situation eventually, but I'll have to work to get to that point, and that's okay. Sorry for the whole ramble, but this is still sort of a vent post. I have a lot of mixed emotions that I haven't been able to untangle. Thank you to everyone who listened, reached out, and gave advice. I appreciate that so much, and I hope everyone had a good new year.